It's like I got a frog in my throat as soon as I try to open my mouth. It's the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. I'm Dan Carroll, and I need to drink a beer.
You definitely need to. Definitely.
I was ready to go, and then as soon as I started talking, there was a giant glob of phlegm right there. So now I'm good to go.
It's the way it always.
Can we start over? Can we just erase this and
Control delete? We'll Control delete it.
Now it's the Illegal Shift Studio. One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. Welcome to the big show today. A lot of stuff I hate is going to be on the show today because I got a little stuff about transgenders. I got a little stuff about illegals, and then of course Trump being in the in New York City again. I mean, how about that? His son is graduating from high school, and the judge says, "No, I need you here in court. You can't get a day pass to go see your son graduate from high school." What an absolute dick.
I'm Jason Keever.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you already did that.
No, my question for that is
what an absolute dick.
Well, see, I start drinking one. I crack one for the opening. But my question is, when's a graduation? Because right now they're going through jury selection.
I don't know when it is.
So
I honestly don't know when it is. All I know is he won't let him go.
I literally just heard that earlier today. I was not aware. So I'm curious, why does Trump have to be there for jury selection if it's coming up soon? But I mean, graduation, we're in April. I don't know what kind of school he goes to. Obviously a lot better than one that I went to. I'm
probably
sure.
A very expensive private school.
Very expensive.
I would imagine.
They graduate whenever they want. But I did hear that, and I was like, well, shit, it's the middle of April. So is he asking for in the future? I don't know. But still, I mean, I still think he should be allowed to go. His attorneys can handle whatever business has to be tended to, unless he is at that point supposed to be on the stand. My thoughts, anyway. But
I know. But I mean,
what the fuck do I know?
For God's sake, it's not as if this dude is a hardened criminal.
Ask the Democrats.
Well,
they'll tell you different. It's hush money.
I know. It's just that.
Never mind all the Democrats that pay hookers and don't fucking talk about it.
The other judge wouldn't let him go to his mother-in-law's funeral. Right? Melania's mom died during the other trial, and the judge's like, nope, can't go to that.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
It's all different.
The justice system is so lenient to every defendant that's before the court, and they cut them all kinds of slack. But and it really is that too much to ask? Joe
Biden could go on a 2-week vacation. It'd be fine.
For God's sake,
it'd be fine. He could ride a bike, fall down, do all the things.
Don't get me started.
We're gonna knock an ad read out right out of the gate real quick. I just gotta find it, but we were trying to come up with a good game plan for the show, and I think we got one.
Well, we didn't write anything down, so it's not as if we're wedded to it.
Correct. This is a fluid operation. If anybody's watching or listening that has been, they know it is.
Well, let me ask you this.
Oh, boy. Hold on. I'm getting ready to do an ad read.
Okay, all right.
Get ready to do an ad read, Dan.
Please do.
I lost it.
Engraved in USA.
See, you got me all fucked up. Engraved in USA, friends of ours, have treated us very, very well, given us a bunch of merch that is in the comments or in the description. Go buy yourself something. Buy something for somebody else. But Engraved in USA, in business for over 25 years, engraving your business awards, promotional, employee, and customer brewery drinkware, golf outing accessories, promotional, and recognition items. If you're a smaller global company, they have the team that can design and produce quality items to enhance your business. Call the team of Tanya, Tammy, Tim, or Rich, 513-682-2557, and say, everybody get your beers ready.
There we go.
Drinks ready, whatever it is. 100%.
Yeah.
To get the best personal touch from our friends at Engraved in USA. I'm going to put Rich's email address up as well as a banner. But reach out to them. I mean, they did the Solar Eclipse Cups. I know Bosco got one. I believe Falk got one. A couple others. And it's they can do anything. They can do a one-off item, or they can do a whole run of something. So they can critique it, or not critique it. That's not the right word. Help you articulate what you want.
Yeah.
They can walk you right through it. So we appreciate our friends at Engraved in USA. As always, Rich is a super close friend of the show.
Well, and the artistry and the craftsmanship is exquisite.
Yes.
I will just add that because we've seen up close and personal the products that they make and the things that we have presented to the some of the guests on One More and I'm Out of Here, and they're one of a kind, beautiful keepsakes. They really are.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so go ahead with your thought
on.
If you remember, you were getting ready to interrupt me.
Oh yeah, I know. What was it?
Oh, see, I knew that was going to happen.
Well, I was what we were done. We were talking about Trump not being able to go to his son's graduation.
I said Biden falling off a bike. I'm trying to give you context.
No, you didn't
clues.
say Biden falling off a bike.
Well, I did say it.
I said was I going to ask you a question?
Yes, you were.
I was going to say, let me ask you this.
Yes.
No, I can't remember what it was.
All right, it'll come back to you.
It probably won't, but
so Dan, let me get you continue to get you fired up.
Okay.
Your thoughts on assholes blocking bridges in protest for Palestine, pro-Palestinian supporters. And we saw a couple of these just yesterday across, two different sides of the country. I'm going to pull this up real quick. But I found it very interesting. I'm trying to figure out which one this is. I pulled two of them up. So we've got Golden Gate Bridge shut down, major thoroughfare. And you talked about it a little bit today on your radio show of these people sitting in the middle of the road, blocking people. And I liked how you worded it, where people were trying to get to work, maybe trying to get to a hospital. The hospital was a good little notion in there, by the way, tugging at a heartstring. But these fucking assholes are they're not allowed to do this, but you were saying, it appeared for a period of time that the police officers weren't allowed to engage these people.
Well, that was, as I was getting ready I was on the air this morning from 9 to noon, our local time, doing the Scott Sloan show. And so as I was looking at the video that came from San Francisco, they had a shot of, and they were talking about how that bridge was blocked for 5 hours. 5 hours. These people were out there.
Major thoroughfare.
It is. And I saw the video of, you've got the protesters out there, and then you've got the cops standing maybe 5 or 6 feet away. And it essentially just looked like a standoff. What I didn't know is the lengths that those demonstrators had gone to make sure that they wouldn't be removed and their protest could go on as long as they wanted to, almost.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that video, and it's hard, I can't zoom that in, or at least I don't know how to zoom that in. But they've got like 55 gallon drums. And I'm going to show a different video here shortly. But it looks like the bottom is filled with concrete, but there's tubes in it to where they can put their hands in, and there's rebar to where they can literally hold a chain, but they're holding on to this rebar. And when I saw it, I didn't know exactly what it was, and I had to watch it a couple of different times and figure it out.
Actually, kind of an ingenious design, actually.
It actually is.
I got to give them a little credit.
As little credit as I want to give them, yes. Your ingenuity is fantastic for your shitty thought process. And you're fucking everybody else.
But see, that's the kind of guys we are. We give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
You're fair. You're a douchebag for doing what you did, but your design for doing it was pretty good.
I guarantee you there was a left-wing fucking engineer in there saying, "Hey, I think we need to do it this way."
Those fuckers.
But I could play this video from this article, but I have this other video that makes it a little bit more. You have to watch it a couple times to figure out what it is. But once I saw it, I was like, God damn, that's, as to Dan's point, like very ingenious. But 5 hours, you shut down a major thoroughfare, and people have places to go. They don't share your same beliefs, and they don't have to, but you're impeding everybody else. Do your shit on the side of the road. If you want to line the bridge on each side, have 1 million people
all day. Knock yourself out.
Do it.
I mean, you're probably not supposed to be out there. I don't think there's pedestrians allowed on the Golden. At least the last time I was there, I don't think pedestrians were allowed out there. Maybe they have a walkway now. I don't know.
If Falk's in the chat, she might be able to tell us. I've never been. I've never been to San Francisco.
No, demonstrate, exercise your First Amendment right
Do it
all
peaceful.
day long.
This is not. I don't care what you say. In my opinion, this is not fucking peaceful. When you're impeding traffic, it's not peaceful. We ran into it after George Floyd, even here in Cincinnati, where people were standing on I-75, a huge fucking interstate, blocking traffic. To me, that's not peaceful.
Yeah, and then people act surprised when they get run over.
Yeah,
by a car or a truck. And just let me say this.
I'll
say this for the
I'm
record.
not fucking stopping.
Yeah, if you're a demonstrator and say I'm the first car that you're setting up your demonstration in front of, and there's no other cars in front of me, I'm not stopping for you.
Your demonstration is going to be ruined.
I don't care if I bang up my car or what, but I am not stopping for your shenanigans. And if you get hurt, man, to my way of thinking, that's on you. I'll take my chances.
Tab paid for one, and I love the fact that you use the word shenanigans.
Well,
it reminds me of Super Troopers.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna play this video. I'll play it probably 2 or 3 times, but the way this appears to me is first responders and police are dealing with this demonstrator, and as I said before, they had the 55-gallon
who's
drums.
crying like a bitch, I might add.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fucking puss boy.
So they cut the sides of this barrel off, and I'm assuming using, a rotary saw that we carry. Cut the sides of the barrel off. All right, well, we'll fix you.
See, now that's the kind of thing you'd like to be involved in.
Fuck yeah, I would.
You would love being out there saying, "Shut up, you douchebag."
No, I wouldn't say any. I would say no such words, Dan.
You'd be thinking it.
I would maybe put a foot like on an ankle or something as I'm trying to get a steady hand on the saw and maybe crush an ankle. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to be in that position.
Would that job fall to you to be the saw operator, or would you delegate that responsibility?
Oh, in this situation, I'd take it, definitely. Yeah. I mean, normally I delegate a lot of shit, but I would definitely.
That's what you're good at.
I would definitely take this one.
Ow, 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 ow. I got it. Ow. I got you. Ah. Okay, hold on. By the numbers.
All right, let go of your fingers. Let go. Let go. Let go.
Ow, they're twisting it.
Let go.
They're twisting it for no reason.
Let go of the bar. Let go of the bar.
Let's do medical.
Let go of the bar. Come on, let go.
Stop.
Let go of the bar.
My hand.
Let go of the bar.
Stop squeezing my hand.
Let go of the bar.
Stop squeezing my hand and twisting it. The rebar is cutting the inside of my hand. Stop prying my fingers. Stop prying. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Let go of the rebar.
Stop. You're hurting me.
Let go of the rebar. He's free. He's free.
Take him out.
You got the arms? Okay. Yeah, set on. The bike.
Do you need EMS?
Yes. It needs to be seen by a medic.
Before you handcuff this person, medical check you out.
Now I am back.
Okay.
Requesting medical.
Let's extend the legs.
Handcuffed.
Yep, we're going to
They have
go
continually
9.5.
prioritized Congress. They interrupt.
How dumb are you? The rebar is cutting the inside of my hands. It's because you're gripping it too tight, you fucktard. You're in control of that. Nobody else is in control of that.
I mean, they got the gloves on. The guy's like touching his hand, like, let go.
Yeah.
Let go.
Way more gentle than I would have been. I'd have grabbed all of those fingers. There probably would have been a couple broken fingers.
Oh, man.
And I'd deal with that later. But Will Cray said, I can't breathe. His hand couldn't breathe, Will Cray. His hand was in a tube. But I saw that video and I was like, you have got to be shitting me.
No, when it comes to the First Amendment, you will find no bigger supporter for the First Amendment than me. You want to demonstrate, you want to have redress of grievances, knock yourself out. But you cannot You cannot get in the way of other people when you're doing it.
Life
you can't
still
flop.
has to happen as you're protesting. Life doesn't stop just because you're protesting.
And so maybe you're watching the show. Maybe you're watching the One More I'm Out of Here podcast right now. And maybe you're some kind of radical numbnut. When you see stuff like that.
If you are, please comment.
Does that appeal to you? Does that make you say, oh, I want to join these guys? I want to be out there on the bridge. I want to be making a video like this with my hand through a piece of PVC pipe, holding on to other people so we can't have our human chain broken.
No.
Who does that appeal to?
I feel very strongly about a bunch of shit.
It doesn't make me sympathetic to your cause.
No. Yeah. People that are driving by that don't agree with you don't care. Now, you have assholes, right? Like, if Dan wanted to protest about something that I don't agree with, go protest. I'm not going to be a fucking asshole to you unless you're an asshole to me. If you're accosting me, as I'm walking, Jill and I are walking down the street and you're accosting me on your cause and I don't agree with it, leave me the fuck alone. I'm out of it. I don't care. But I'm fine with you doing that. Get your message out.
We have here in the past in Cincinnati had people who want to put up signs and protest about Trump. We don't like Trump. We love Joe Biden, all that kind of stuff. They're on the side of the road, minding their own business, trying to get people to honk their horns and stuff like that. I'll drive by and I'll flip them off. I'll give them a big old one finger salute. That's my right to respond that way. But as long as they're not standing in my way, as long as they're not destroying private or public property, then I don't have to call someone and say I'm offended by your presence, or I'm not going to try and call the cops and get you removed.
Right.
You can stand out there all day long, all night long, and protest. I don't give a shit. I don't agree with what you're saying. I'll look at what you're doing and I'll move on.
But that's the beauty of this country is we can agree to disagree, and that's fine. And we have Cincy 513 in here all the time that we know we don't agree. And I said this the last podcast. But I enjoy that, not in a adversarial way. Tell me why. Tell me why you think I'm wrong. And I'll listen. I may not agree with it even at the end of that. But it's having that conversation. But being able to do it in a civilized fucking manner where you see these videos all the time of these protests, and then you get some asshole that doesn't agree that goes in and just punches somebody. I don't agree with that. I don't like that. Just walk the fuck by. Guess what? You'll be a block up the road and you won't even hear it anymore. But then you have the protesters who will sit there and push and push and push. And, we showed the video, 2 podcasts ago, the motherfucker standing in the street and got fucking smoked by a car. Guess what?
Yeah, run over by a Prius.
Yeah, fucking Prius.
So let that be a lesson to you. It doesn't matter if you have a big car or a small car. That car is stronger than a few people holding signs. So you are pretty good to run them over.
Cincy 513 said, I think you're both douchebags, but I'm still a loyal listener. And you know what? We appreciate you for it.
That's right. He's exercising his right to look. And if he doesn't like the show, he doesn't have to watch. And to my way of thinking, it's just that simple.
Damn, another tab.
But let me give you 2 examples in the news today of what I'm talking about. Last week.
Whoa, what are you looking at over there?
That was just this is an ad that just popped up on this.
Oh,
hold on.
I wish I could have shared that screen.
Well, this is what I was looking at. It was some girls modeling clothes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there's a guy named Yuri Berliner. He's been with NPR. You know what NPR is, National Public Radio.
Yep.
Been there 25 years. He wrote
I almost pulled this up.
He wrote an opinion piece last week criticizing NPR because they have a lack of diversity of thought there. So in other words, including himself, we're all a bunch of libs. We present a liberal viewpoint. There's really, when you listen to NPR, when you watch public television, you are not getting the whole story because liberalism is ingrained in the presentation. It all comes from a leftist point of view. So he wrote this headline, made big splash in the news. Now he's been suspended. So NPR,
We can't go against.
here's one guy who says he's saying we need to examine ourselves. We need to look at what we're doing. We need, here's an example. And he was, the example he used was Trump-Russia collusion. He called it the catnip of for the people who are working in the newsroom. And he gave the example of how many times they interviewed Adam Schiff when they were talking about Russia collusion. And Schiff kept saying, oh, there's ample evidence and we've got the smoking gun and all this stuff. Well, Schiff didn't have crap. He didn't have shit. But they interviewed him, it was, I think the number is 32 or 36 times over the course of 2 or 3 years. I mean, the guy was on all the time. So he had that example, and he provided examples of what he was talking about. And he was saying, we present ourselves, and one of their shows, they're probably their most well-known show on NPR, is a show called All Things Considered. Well, if you've ever listened to it, they do not consider all things. They consider things that appease and cater to the left in this country. So he's been suspended. Here's another example. In the news today, a woman who worked for Donald Trump, a lawyer, was appointed as an advisor to an election advisory board called the Election Assistance Commission. This left-wing activist group found out, her name is Cleta Mitchell, senior legal fellow at the Conservative Partnership Institute, was appointed to the advisory board for the election in November of 2021. After months of badgering the United States Commission of Civil Rights officials to oust Mitchell from the board of advisors, they finally acquiesced and kicked her off. So you have one person on this board, and I think there's 30-some positions on this board. I don't know the exact number. But here was one person who used to work, 35-member board. One person who used to work for Trump has a different thought, maybe has a different perspective on things than your average leftist. And yet they could not abide her being on that board, so they insisted that she be removed. And we played this video a couple of weeks ago. Remember the guy who was standing there fishing, the dude from Texas?
Oh,
and he was talking about the difference between, this is exactly the kind of thing he was talking about.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, look, we're on the board. The board is about elections. Elections are for everyone. And if this person has a different opinion than me, then we will deal with it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But no, we can't have that. Got to kick them out. Get them out of here. Can't have it. Can't deal with it.
We can't talk about any of that.
And that's exactly the sort of attitude that is pervasive in all these things that we were just talking about.
Yeah, and we go back and forth, and I love when Cincy 513 is in, because again we get the discourse going back and forth, but everything that's going on, and we're kind of still hitting on the fact that these people were blocking traffic, pushing their agenda. Don't care. Nobody gives a shit except for your supporters. So we have California, San Francisco getting a bridge blocked. The Brooklyn Bridge was blocked as well.
Do you have video of that?
I don't have. I have a video. I mean, it's it's their news, but yeah, I did pull it up. But there was a ton of people that were out there, and I think in San Francisco, I think 37 were arrested. If I'm not mixing them up, I can't remember which one it was.
Of Emergency Management is telling drivers they should expect delays on the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, earlier, some of these protesters were on Wall Street protesting outside the stock exchange. And that's where Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim brings us live report. Stefan.
Well, David, those protesters left the stock exchange about an hour ago and moved towards the Brooklyn Bridge, where you mentioned there have already been several arrests. It was hot out here today, and it was not just the weather. Protesters on both sides clashed, tempers flared. At one point, cops had to step in and separate the two groups. You guys killed the hostages. It was a tense confrontation with emotions running high on both sides. A lot of blame going back and forth. There would be no peace here. At least not today.
So you're not getting paid to support the slaughter of children.
At one point, police officers had to get in the middle and were drawn into the scrum themselves.
Which is the shit spot.
More than 100 pro-Palestinian
their job,
demonstrators
I get it.
who turned out in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Their message was this: Israel bombs, Wall Street profits. The group's organizers say they chose to demonstrate today on tax day because
we don't want our tax dollars continuing to fund genocide. There's a strike happening all across the country today. Students are taking off of school. People are calling out of work. People are refusing to shop, spend any money today. There have been actions shutting down the Chicago O'Hare Airport.
You move out the way! You move out the way!
That large pro-Palestinian group clashed with a smaller pro-Israeli group, pushing and shoving and tripping, as about a dozen counter-protesters made their way through the crowd.
This whole issue is not about Palestine or Palestinians, it's about Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. It's been around for years, funded by Iran, who tried to attack Israel with 300-plus drone missiles the other night. And Hamas has to be defeated so that the Gazans could live their lives.
The hostages need to be freed today, beyond discussion, having nothing to do with anything. I don't see anybody holding Palestinian hostages.
Good point.
Now, one other note, as we've been reporting, former President Trump is in town today, and often after he's in town, he has a tendency to address the media down the block here at 40 Wall Street, the Trump building. So aside from the stock exchange, there's also that. A ton of security down here. But with that said, neither side of these protests seem to notice or care for his potential presence.
But yeah, so like with that, we're not dealing with anything that I've seen major here in Cincinnati.
Right.
We're not having these major dust ups. But again, you're blocking the fucking Brooklyn Bridge.
Well, the Brooklyn Bridge does have a walkway, does have a lane.
But they were blocking.
Were they blocking traffic?
They were in the fucking roadway.
Okay. All right. I didn't see that in that video there. But
No, not in this video.
Yeah.
But it's
all right.
The video I pulled was shit, Dan. I apologize.
No, that's all right.
I'll do better next time.
I didn't know if they were on the walkway or they were in traffic.
No,
if they were in traffic, then fuck them.
And they impeded traffic. But again, yeah, with that walkway, yeah, do it. Put a billboard up. Don't give a shit. You have to deal with the city at that point. Do you have a permit for the billboard or the banner, whatever? It's just so
that costs a lot in New York City too.
No, it's going to have to. I would assume. But it's frustrating sitting here, and we're not having to deal with it. So it is unfair for us to sit here and throw that the fact that you're blocking traffic. It's not fucking me up today, but shitty drivers were all day, and maybe they were protesters. I don't know, but
there was some construction work going on down on 8 Mile down there. Did you see that?
I mean, to the point. I mean, it's do your thing. But like you're watching that group of people, be human beings. Let people walk through. Just because they don't agree with you, you don't have to sit there. Don't bump into me, Dan.
Yeah.
Don't bump into me. That's stupid. It's fucking retarded. It's the most dumb elementary school, gym class type shit. Oh, you're not in our group? All right, fuck you. We're gonna bully you. We're gonna fuck with you. See what I did there? Trigger word, bully. There's a bunch of bullying going on. It's a hot button item, or hot button word. So
no, you're right.
Figured I'd toss it out.
No, you're right. It's just a ridiculous form of protest that I don't think.
Since he says
you're not going to convince me to change my mind because you're out there in the street.
No.
It seems like it's very ineffective way to get your message across.
Yeah. So since he said that Golden Gate Bridge is open to pedestrians, I've never been.
Okay.
I don't know. I just saw the videos that I saw where they were not in the pedestrian area. They were in the fucking roadway, which is a problem. It could be a bigger problem for them if somebody just so happened to stomp the accelerator.
Well, it's times like that. I wish I was driving a truck like a snowplow would be effective. you just don't stop. You push all that shit, push those barrels and all that shit out of the way, and let traffic flow. Let the traffic flow.
Well, it looked like every other car in your driveway. Oh, shit. All right. So we had New York. We had fucking San Francisco with all kinds of protests, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Do your thing, but don't affect other people while you're doing your thing. I want to play this video. I'm really excited for you to see this.
Okay.
Video. Dan has not seen this video. I saw it yesterday. It's a little bit of a long one, so bear with us, but it, in my opinion, is well worth it.
I'm going to lean over here and look at your computer.
Yeah, do it.
You can't, you cross the border, you should then be, it's illegal. Should it be illegal to come into America uninvited?
I'm not saying that it should be legal. I'm saying that this whole process should be changed. Maybe if my dad would have had the opportunity, he would have come legally. Maybe
but no, he could have. Hold on. People come legally from Mexico all the time.
Absolutely. When
why
you have
didn't
the
your
resources.
Father, hold on. Well, why didn't your father come legally?
He was 14, uneducated, did not go to school.
So got it. Now we're getting somewhere. So he was poor, and so we should make exceptions for poor young people.
That's not at all what I'm saying.
Yes, it is.
No, that's not at all what I'm saying.
You're saying that he didn't have the resources, so we should kind of just relax the laws. So let me just be very clear. We set the laws in America for the good of the people of this country, not for the good of the people of Mexico. Period. And so there is no relaxing and there is no compromise on this. Your father should have been deported, and he should still be deported, because he has to pay for the crime when he broke into our home.
You think my father, who is a voting citizen of this country, should be deported?
He has to pay a penalty for breaking into America, and he never did. Unless he served prison time. Did he?
No.
Okay, then he has to pay a penalty.
Because my father's not a criminal.
But your father is a criminal. He broke a federal law that says you cannot break into America. If someone came up here and they said, you know, my father broke into a bank, or my father held up a grocery store, but he raised a beautiful child, I'd say, wait a second, did he ever serve prison time? And thank you for acknowledging you must apply the law regardless of how nice the story is. And so I'll ask the question again. Should we get rid of that law? Should we just say amnesty? We give forgiveness to all who broke the law. You are now here.
No, but why do we not put forth resources to try and help these people go through a legal process?
Well, we do. Hold on. You can apply on the Department of Homeland
Security. Do we understand how many applications are backlogged? When you're denied applications, you are giving no reason for why your application is being denied.
You don't have a right to come here, though.
This is what's important. Of dollars for having no idea why your application is being denied.
Your whole premise is wrong.
People think they have no other choice.
You have a choice. Go make Mexico great.
That is very easy to say when you are so far removed from the immigrant experience that your family came here when immigration was
Yes, you're right. My family did help found the country. You're right.
Absolutely.
So let me.
On my wife's side, they did too. Because that's
hold on a second. Your family's from Mexico.
No, my
family got here in 1620 and settled the country. Your father broke into the country that my family helped build, okay?
Excuse me.
Let's be very clear.
Excuse me.
Your family broke into the country that my family served in a military for. You came uninvited. And now you come up here and you say, well, I think my father's this great story. No, your father couldn't wait in line. He could not go make Mexico great again. So he came into the country that he screwed up all the process. Let me finish. Hold on one second. Where do you get the moral right to act as if we should even accept one immigrant? Where do you get that from?
My question to you is, yes, your family was here. They got to come here legally, right? They got to build this country.
In 1620, yes. They settled. They did not immigrate. They came to a country that was barren, that was empty, and they helped found the country nearly 400 years ago.
Yes, and on my mother's side, they did the same thing.
And they came here and they followed all the customs and all the laws. Your father didn't do that.
Because there were no customs or laws.
Well, yes, there was. You know what the custom and laws was? If you don't die, it's yours.
Good at that. And He's right. He does these college tours all the time. So he's.
I mean, granted, he is coming in with a loaded gun, and they have a slingshot because he's doing these college tours. So I recognize the fact of who he is going up against as an opponent. I recognize that because they have their thoughts, but they're a little uneducated. This one, because I watch a lot of his, he's got a great TikTok channel.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with TikTok or not, it's easy for me, 30 seconds, 45 seconds of just watching the questions that are posed to him and him delivering an answer. He's coming in with a loaded magazine and they're coming with a slingshot. But that stupid bitch, I was in my bunk last night at the firehouse laughing my ass off at how dumb she looked because everything that she was saying, he was giving in my opinion, a poignant answer and answering every question she had, but then she wanted to keep going, and then he would just fire on, just keep adding on to it. And he's relentless. He is fucking relentless.
Well, young people like her are so used to getting their way, injecting emotion into the argument, and then having someone else acquiesce because they don't want them to get upset.
Right.
And see, Charlie doesn't give a shit about that.
I fucking love that guy.
And so he's so good at he loves it when people try to challenge him on the talks that he gives or the points that he makes. And he's one of those rare individuals who can. He's got the knowledge, he's got the facts in his head, and his brain works so efficiently that he doesn't have any problem recalling. And that's the thing that impresses me is I have a hard time like with statistics. If he can say, well, 70% of the country, says, they don't like gun ownership, but 34% of the country owns guns, and this percentage of criminals were killed by guns, and he can remember and has recall of all that kind of stuff, and he fires that kind of stuff out. But so he doesn't give in to him when, like she did, she tried to inject her own emotion and her own kind of whininess into that argument. And then when he puts it right back in her face, she's not expecting that because she's so used to getting her way. And then
she's emotionally not prepared for it.
He reduces them to babbling idiots.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to say.
My dad, he goes, your dad's a fucking criminal. Minus the fucking, but your dad's a criminal and he should do jail time because I love the fact he broke into our house.
But that's where I would have stopped right. I would have stopped right there and said, wait a minute, your dad's in the country illegally and he votes?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I've been talking about is all these illegals in the
Bosco
country.
made a comment. He goes, how's an illegal alien able to vote?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because Democrats allow it to happen. That's why, Bosco. I mean, the answer, but I have to say it just to spark Cincy.
Well, that dovetails with this piece that I found getting ready for the podcast.
Perfect.
Today.
We didn't even know that was going to happen.
The Department of Homeland Security is monitoring more than 600,000 migrants who have entered the U.S. with criminal records. If I was in charge, that would be one of the first things that would be one of my major policy initiatives. You have a criminal record in the country you come from, you don't come to the United States. I don't care if you're trying to get in legally. I don't care if you're trying to get in illegally. I don't care if you're a world-famous brain surgeon. If you're a criminal, sorry about your luck. We don't need you. We got plenty of other people we can find that can take your place and do whatever it is you want to do. But they're monitoring think about that. 600, the actual number is 617,000. 617,000 who have criminal records bumping around the country, and they claim that they're monitoring them. Do you believe that for 1 second that they have an idea of where all these 617,000 individuals with criminal records are right at this very moment?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find some shit in my house that I know is in
How
here.
can things like this even exist?
These are this is number rhetoric that they want people to fucking believe, oh, we're giving numbers out. If you give a number, they're like, oh, well, yeah, well, somebody's tracking them. And it's always somebody's tracking them. Well, who? Show me who. Give me that list. Hypothetically, if we had the ability, give me that list of 617,000. Let me put my finger down on one name.
Yeah.
And you tell me where
You
the
tell
fuck
me where
they are.
where that dude is right now.
Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. And
because these
that
people
number,
come in with
that
criminal
number is
records,
actually low.
Guess what they're going to do? They're going to get arrested again. This one sheriff who they interviewed from Loudoun County, Virginia, talks about the 264 illegals that he has in his county, and he's talking about among them that's 8 counts of murder, 38 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 5 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of child pornography, 1 count of intoxicated homicide. Those are the ones who are just in his jail right now. And that's 1 county in Virginia. And we have the same thing in Butler County, Ohio. We have the same thing in the county we're in. Every county in the country has these kind of things going on. And these people come here, they commit murder, they commit rape, they make mayhem, and we're supposed to act like, oh yeah, just let them in. I mean, there's no sovereignty when you surrender the border the way this guy has, Joe Biden. You surrender American sovereignty, and you can't be a nation if you're not going to be a sovereign nation and you don't have borders and you don't enforce your borders. You can't be a serious country.
Correct. I astoundingly agree with you. And one of the things, and I don't know if it was that another video that I've seen, because I've watched a lot of Charlie's videos, is the fact he was like, you to your point, you cannot be legitimate if you do not control. And he goes, yeah, in Europe, people traverse back and forth. But he's like, there are still certain parameters that you have to go through to traverse through. They've got all the trains. I mean, their society is different than ours over here because there's so many countries just touching. We've got fucking 2. Not counting Central
but
America.
it'd be like going from state to state. Imagine if there was a border checkpoint,
right?
Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. It would make travel totally impractical and almost impossible.
But watching some of his other videos too, and I encourage you to go watch them. They're at the very least they're entertaining just to watch arguing.
Yeah,
arguing ensue. But to see somebody get completely fucking decimated as a fucking moron. And like you said, the college tours that he goes on, I've seen the transgender people standing up, while he's sitting under a tent, with an open mic.
Oh, he destroys them too.
Hey, come up and talk.
Change my mind.
And he wants them to come. He invites them, and he fucking kills every one of them. Every fucking one of them.
And a lot of times, and I haven't seen. I've seen some of his videos, not a ton of them, but the ones I have seen, he reduces them to an absolute mess, and they usually wind up dropping the F-bomb or calling him an asshole, or they start with the name calling. And once you've done that, you've lost the argument.
Well, I knew I'd get Cincy fucking going.
I get a border check driving from California.
Cincy's in the chats. I love it. I love it, Cincy. I love it. You can call me an idiot all you want. I have so many things to say, but I'm gonna be nice.
Well, he says voting should be a legal requirement for all ages of citizens. Well, it's not a requirement. I think it's more of a responsibility that you have.
It's a privilege and responsibility is the way it's.
But he uses the key word there for citizens of this country. And I mean, and in New York, I mean, the city council there decided they want illegals voting in local elections in New York. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Your Democrats are allowing not citizens to fucking vote. So, I mean, it's already been documented. So you can't prove it otherwise. So you're arguing against your own fucking point, but I love it.
I always try to boil it down to this. If you went to a foreign country where you don't speak the language, crossed in there illegally, would you have any expectation that you would be able to vote in their elections? And the answer is no.
No, absolutely not. No.
It's getting warm over here. All right.
It's because you're getting fired up.
I know. Let's take a little break to talk about our buddy Dan Varner at Ohio Valley Productions. And this is another great sponsor of the show. We talk about Dan Varner and Ohio Valley Productions all the time. And, I was thinking today is really the first day it felt like summertime in Cincinnati. We've had some nice days, more spring-like, but today was more summer-like. And when it's summertime, at least here in the Cincinnati area, that means it's party time. And if you've got a party going on, well, then you need to call Ohio Valley Productions. If you want to have a backyard event, a corporate function, a fundraiser, a festival, Ohio Valley Productions is your one-stop shop. If you want to do karaoke, trivia, music, and it's all going to be the best of the best because they have so many people who work there and they've been in the business, quality entertainment, and a team that has the most experience around, and it is going to make your event the one to remember. So if you have a vision for a great time, you can make it happen. And even if you don't, so you call them up and say, hey, I've got an event. I want to have a great party. And here's what my venue is. And they're going to have some ideas for you. They're going to say, well, look, we can do A, B, C, and D. Take your pick. And you're going to have a great time. So just drop an email to Ohio Valley Productions, our buddy Dan, at OhioValleyProductions.com. That is Ohio, all one word, Dan, at OhioValleyProductions.com.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Let's move into some lighthearted stuff, shall we?
What do you got?
Well, we're leaving one out. I'm going to just real quick breeze on it. I find it very amusing, and I'm not even going to pull the article up, that the FBI finally opens a criminal investigation in Baltimore for the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
What's it been, a month now?
But they've opened a criminal investigation.
Well, they should have done it on day one.
Exactly. Well, the White House said there's nothing nefarious going on. I don't know what this criminal investigation entails. It's very hush-hush, obviously. I'm trying to figure out, and I'm not completely on board or at all on board with maritime laws. But the fact that the FBI is involved raises some questions in my mind. And until I hear otherwise and hear some more details.
Well, I'm sure there are jurisdictional issues to be worked out. Does the FBI have jurisdiction here? What entity in the United States investigates maritime issues, maritime laws, maritime crimes? Is that the FBI? Is it the Coast Guard? Is it some other department that I don't know about? So I'm sure you've got all those in here, but I seem to recall reading an article right after this happened that the area where the ship ran into the bridge was being treated as a crime scene, which I think it should have been in order to preserve evidence
you had deaths. You had deaths, so you have to.
Yeah. So it's got to be investigated.
Yeah. I just don't understand why the FBI is doing it. And again, I don't know.
Well,
but I found it amusing.
I don't have the highest confidence in the FBI right now.
No, fuck no. Yeah. Me neither. But I find it very interesting in the fact that here we are, what'd you say, a month later, 3.5 weeks, whatever it is, that now they're announcing that the FBI is conducting a criminal investigation. Well, not just an investigation, criminal investigation.
I think that's the only kind of investigations the FBI does.
But again, why is the FBI doing it? That's what I want to know. So I just saw that. I just wanted to hit it real quick.
Let's let that play out.
Yeah, I want more information before we, deep dive into that. But one of Kiefer's favorite topics came up. Thanks to Dan.
Hot for teacher.
Yeah. Thanks to Dan.
Hey, whenever I see those, I think of you now.
We've got another fucking teacher. Another teacher.
Because you were never lucky enough to find yourself in this situation when you were
I know. I feel
a young man in high school.
I feel slighted. I'm pissed off about it, so we're going to report on it. Nebraska high school substitute teacher was arrested after being caught in a compromising position with a teenage student in the backseat of her car.
I can tell you, I never had a substitute teacher that looked like that.
No, me neither.
Not that she's the hottest thing walking the planet, but
also before,
if I was in high school and the opportunity came to hit that, I'd probably hit it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Before the boy fled, which is even better. So when you get further into the story, let's see. Where's
I think he had his boxers on, didn't he?
Aaron Ward, 45, was a teacher at Burke High School in Omaha when authorities discovered her and her 17-year-old student, quote-unquote, undressed in her Honda Pilot parked at a dead-end road at 3 a.m.
A lot of room in those Honda Pilots for mischief.
All kinds of activities. And nothing good happens after 3 a.m. on a Saturday night.
Yeah, it's been said.
Douglas County Sheriff's deputies were responding to a report of a suspicious car when they happened upon the pair. Viewing them, rushed to put their clothes back on before the teenager got in the driver's seat and fled the scene before crashing just 2 blocks away. That's the part that makes me laugh even more. Hey, bitch, get out. I'm taking your car.
Oh, I thought he fled on foot.
No, he was in the car.
Oh, man. So he stepped on the gas and then wrecked.
A good driver. The boy got out of the vehicle, which was later determined to belong to Ward and her husband.
Oopsie.
And ran off on foot at that point. Police found him after over an hour of searching, wearing nothing but boxers, a T-shirt, and socks. Poor fella. He was just scared.
Hey, well,
his adrenaline was going. His dick was hard. He didn't know what to do.
He didn't know what to do.
He jumped in, threw it in drive, and stomped the gas.
Now he's making national news. That's pretty cool.
Ward remained at the scene and allegedly admitted to having sexual relations with the teen, who she said was a Burke student. So the funny part is, outside of all of that, which I find all of that amusing, because if I was a teacher, I'd be like, what the fuck? That's my fucking car. Where are you going? After Stu was found, police said he was taken to a quote-unquote safe place to receive care and be interviewed.
Yeah.
He's 17 fucking years old.
You gotta look out for his feelings, though.
He's a fucking young man.
He's still a juvenile.
But she had posted this Twitter. I don't know when. I don't know if it said how soon she did it beforehand, but every school in the metro could learn something from at OPS Burke. Absolutely the best school as a guest teacher. Favorite building to teach at. Love when I get to be a bulldog. Well, she fucking bulldogged the shit out of that, didn't she?
Oh, man.
I love these fucking stories.
That is fantastic.
There is nothing that makes me happier when you send me one of these or I find one. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
We nailed it.
And if you're a viewer, you can send us one at what's our email address again?
One more and I'm out of here at gmail.com.
There you go. You can send it there.
We're having an issue with the admin at One More.
Okay.
We're having an issue with that. So anything
I can never remember.
Anything needs to go. One more and I'm out of here at Gmail. It's pretty easy to fucking remember.
That's a great story. So and then we have one more piece of video that I sent you, and I thought, and when I saw this video, I thought of you as a first responder because I'm sure you have to respond. Sometimes you got to respond to car wrecks all the time. And this was a car wreck purportedly. I looked for more information on this, but the person who posted the video said this was a car wreck involving 2 EVs, which is, there's so many electric vehicles on the road now. That's a possibility that 2 could wreck into each other. And the video you see here is a result of that accident and the chain reaction that sort of happens. But watch this for yourself, and you'll see why I sent Jason the video and why I wanted to play it on the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast.
And this is a day that I hope that I'm off work. I hope I'm on a Kelly week or some shit.
I hope someone gets video of it, though. All right, this video is a minute long. Count the explosions in 1 minute's time here. Big one. That's 3.
Look at the fourth one.
Yeah, big hunter. Flying over there. Now, as a firefighter rolling up to a scene like this, you wouldn't get any closer than this, would you?
I'm further back than this fucking cameraman.
I mean, look at that.
I'll wait for that shit to stop.
Well, apparently it can go on for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted 5 right there.
And being after the video.
I mean, look at that. And there's stuff flying off the side of the road. That is crazy.
So rolling up to that, if I see something like that, I'm obviously way back. But that being on a highway, you have no hydrants. So you don't have a confirmed water supply. Most trucks are carrying either 500 or 750 gallons of water in their tank. That's 2 minutes.
You can go through that pretty quick.
Because I would set a deck gun up from a distance and try to, and you just be lobbing water at it. Now,
what else can you do?
That's in that situation on the expressway. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You get trucks coming from the other side. You get trucks coming from this side until you can figure out, all right, is there a hydrant down, if you're close to an overpass or whatever. I mean, you have to establish a water supply because the trucks aren't going to have enough. So that's either going to just sit there and just continue to pop off.
Yeah.
Or you completely flood it with water. We talked about it when we were talking about the Ford F-150, the Lightnings.
Yeah.
And we talked about how those the batteries in those EV vehicles, the amount of water that it takes, and even after you put it out, it'll reignite. You'll have a chemical reaction again.
Yeah.
And it's going to reignite. You just literally have to throw water, foam, anything you got at it. That's why I said that needs to be a Kelly week for me. Because that's a fucking.
Unfortunately, these things aren't planned in advance.
I know. Well, they need to get with me before they decide to do this shit. But no, I mean those things, and we've started training on them a lot more. I mean, it's scary shit.
Yeah, that video is pretty amazing.
But yeah, it
really is.
I'd be fucking further back than where Mr. Cell Phone Cameraman was.
I mean, there's a lot of shit popping off there.
And a lot of debris, as we call it. Debris.
Absolutely. You don't want to get clipped by any of that.
Let's hit we'll hit this day in history real quick.
All right.
Before we tune it out. I haven't really I looked at it, but I didn't look at it.
Okay.
So today, April 16, 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. wrote his quote-unquote letter from Birmingham jail in which civil rights activists responded to a group of local clergymen who had criticized him for leading street protests. King defended his tactics, writing, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere."
Oh, that's a good line.
Which I think that quote is fantastic.
Yeah, that is a good line.
And he was a peaceful protester.
Could learn. Some people could learn from him.
They were in the roadway when they marched.
Yes, they were.
But we also didn't have the amount of vehicles that we have today. I will just say that.
Okay. But I think they had a permit.
They may have a permit.
Okay.
1789. President-elect George Washington left Mount Vernon, Virginia for his inauguration in New York. Let's see. 1889 comedian Charles Chaplin was born. Oh, didn't know that.
Very famous.
Interesting.
Silent movie actor.
Let's see. Trying to find something. Here you go. 1972, Apollo 16 blasted off on a voyage to the moon with astronauts John W. Young, Charles M. Duke Jr., and Ken Mattingly on board. Guess who didn't go on Apollo 13?
Well, I know Ken Mattingly was on 13.
No, he was not.
Was he not?
He was the
one.
one
Mistaken about that?
He was the one that got sick.
Oh, that's right.
1977, Alex Haley, author of the bestseller Roots, visited the Gambian village of Jiafor, where he believed his ancestor Kunta Kinte was captured as a slave in 1760.
I remember when that show was on TV, man. That show was huge.
I remember watching that.
Yeah, a huge audience.
I liked it.
That was back when you only had 3 channels.
Well,
so everybody watched it.
I watched it in school where we had more than 3 channels at that point. 1996, Britain's Prince Andrew and his wife Sarah, the Duchess of York, announced that they were in the process of divorcing.
Oopsie.
Ooh, scandalous.
Do you follow any of that royal stuff? My wife loves all that kind of stuff.
I really don't. I watched the series The Queen.
Yeah,
was awesome. Was a very, very. I mean, it was long, but very, very good. And went through.
Well, you and Paula can sit and talk about that.
Was
sometimes.
very good.
She loves all that shit.
2003, Michael Jordan played his last NBA game with the Washington Wizards, who lost to Philadelphia 76ers 107-87. Let's see. Hey, let's give a
I'll
quick,
go down in history saying Jordan was the greatest.
Let's give a quick shout out because we hadn't podcasted since. Shout out to Scotty Scheffler for winning the Masters.
Yep. Won the green jacket, $3.6 million.
Then flew back to fucking Dallas and then went and hung out at a fucking dive bar.
I saw that.
Dude,
did his wife have the baby yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he was hanging out getting pictures in his green jacket in a dive bar in fucking outside of Dallas. I think it's fucking awesome. It's fucking great.
Well, you'd wear your green jacket at a dive bar, wouldn't you?
Fuck yeah. I would.
So there you go. That's something you and Scotty Scheffler have in common.
Let's see. 2013 NFL player turned broadcaster Pat Summerall died, age of 82.
He had a good run.
R.I.P. He was a good broadcaster.
He had a very good run. Him and John Madden.
Let's see.
Great team.
Anything else worth? 2022, Russian forces accelerated scattered attacks on Kiev. And that's what we got for this day in history.
All right.
It was a quick deep dive into it.
That was good. You hit the highlights.
Yeah.
You hit the good stuff.
A lot of people don't give
every
a shit.
day. You can't hit a home run every day.
Well, a lot of people don't give a shit about most of the shit. It's what it is.
I do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button. And we'll see when's our next one. About 3 days time? 4 days time?
I put it in. No.
I heard you talking about it.
You got a busy week.
Yes, I did.
I put it in the description. It will be Saturday. 4/20.
Okay.
Keep your weed out of the house, Dan.
I don't have any weed.
Well, it's 4/20. You might have weed.
Oh, that's right. 4/20 is the drug day.
Yeah, well, the drug day.
Stupid me.
It's also Hitler's birthday, by the way. So that's why the date was complete coincidence. 2 o'clock.
I won't be celebrating that.
We'll be going live at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Put that in your calendar. That's mainly meant for Dan. I'm sure he says it's in there, but we'll make sure. But yeah, Saturday, 2 o'clock. Thank you guys.
Bye,
Make sure
everybody.
you like, subscribe, leave a rating and review on YouTube or on Apple, Spotify. Please help us out. And we will see you guys Saturday.